Hi everybody, Susan Marcoux here. I first want to comment on Isabel Allende's TED Talk. And I just really appreciate having to watch that this week because it really brings up the idea of infusing our stories with heart and passion, a little bit of humor. And I think that not only will it make our stories more interesting to read, but I think that it will draw some things out about the story that maybe, without this in the back of our minds, we might have missed. So I hope so. I hope that, my stories can have a little bit of that in them. Okay, my first essay is on event planning, and I've done all of my event planning has been volunteer work. I have coordinated my church's annual women's conference for the last 6 years, and then I've also done a lot of wedding planning. So learning outcomes, I would say developing listening skills is key because you need to understand what the purpose of the event is, and then also you really want to know what your client's expectations are. And then the obvious organizational skills. You have an absolute myriad of details that you have to keep track of at all times, and you've got several plates spinning at one time, and you always have to keep things moving forward. And you're working with lots of different people, so it really requires a lot of effort in your organizational skills. And then my concern with that is just that I'm approaching it as organizational skills for event planning in general. And I'm wondering if I need to make that more specific to a particular experience or type of event, or if I'm okay to make it, to keep it general for event planning. And then my second essay is sewing classes for children, and this is the one that I'm working on this week. I chose it because I have the most experience in this area, and I thought that it would be the easiest essay for me to write. I've been teaching sewing for about 40 years now. So the important things when teaching sewing to children in particular is your venue and your classroom setup, because teaching sewing classes requires a tremendous amount of equipment and also materials. So you really have to be tuned into what that's going to take, how much it's going to cost, and how you can do it efficiently. And then the curriculum, of course, is the key element. With the curriculum, the most important thing is coming up with a project that is appealing for the age group. Most kids that come to sewing classes are there because they want to be. They're creatives and they love this medium. So in the classroom setting, you want to make sure that you allow for plenty of opportunity for them to explore creatively, but at the same time, your goals are to teach technical skills. So the project needs to allow for both of those. It's very important that in the end result, the kids are pleased with the outcome of the project and feel like they have really mastered a few skills. That's important for them to have a sense of desiring to move on to the next level. My concern with this one is that I taught 4-H sewing for about 10 years, and I might want to use my 4-H leadership experience in a future essay. So I want to make sure that my learning outcomes would not overlap. And then my final essay is a family-owned investment property. And this one I'm currently in. My husband and I purchased a home with our adult children about 2.5 years ago for the purpose of turning it into a rental property and starting a family oriented property investment business. So the learning outcomes for that are very practical, basic investment type outcomes, with the exception of the one that has to do with having a business with your family members. And this is the thing that everyone warns you of, and I felt like, oh, it wouldn't apply to me, but in fact it does. That there are a lot of challenges that arise when working on a business venture with family members. So my concern here is whether or not the project is too recent. In our reading this week, Lauren pointed out to be sure that we've had time to process the learning outcomes. So I just need to explore that a little bit more. I think there are definitely some outcomes that I have fully explored and would be able to implement again, or have already implemented a second time around, but I just want to make sure. So I'm looking forward to your videos and learning about what your essays are going to be, and good luck with your writing this week. Thank you.